Hey socialites, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Ariell. I do mainly beauty videos, fragrance, and lifestyle. So if those are the type of videos you enjoy, I'd love for you to come join the family by hitting the subscribe button. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I got this bold green eye look. I did a really similar look on the last video I uploaded. I think it might have been a fragrance video or something, but I'm showing you guys how I got the eye. Now the skin is different. On the previous video where I wore the green look, I had on the Westman Atelier foundation, but we're gonna give the new Dior Hydra foundation another try. So that's what we're wearing today. So if you want to see how I got this look, then keep watching. Okay, socialites, per usual, I've already moisturized my face with the Clinique Moisture Surge 100 Hour. Has a gel-like consistency, so it really does a great job at absorbing into the skin fairly quickly. To prime, I'm going to use a new product. This is the Fenty Beauty You Mist Makeup Extending Setting Spray. So I was excited for the Fenty setting mist to come out. So it says close your eyes, mist 10 to 12 inches away from your face, or you can apply it to a sponge and use the sponge. You can apply it before your makeup, during your makeup application, or after your makeup is complete in order to extend the wear of your makeup. So love the packaging, so cute. So it's an aerosol can, but then it has a regular sprayer like this, which is different. Typically an aerosol can has like one of those sprayers that kind of shoot out like that, kind of like the Morphe one. So yeah, oh, it's an aggressive sprayer. I don't think it has a scent. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry down for like a minute or two before we go in with foundation. For foundation, we're gonna go in with the new Dior Forever Hydra Nude Foundation. Now, I recently did a full review of that, so I'll link the video right there for you to check out. But with this foundation, after about 3-4 hours, I got pretty shiny. So what I'm hoping is that with the Fenty Beauty You Mist Extending Setting Spray that I'll get longer wear, and I do have a couple more videos to film, so I'll definitely be able to tell just how much the Fenty Beauty spray did. So I'm going to use 1 pump of the Dior Hydra Nude. I think about 2 pumps ended up doing my whole face. Going in with my BK Beauty 101 foundation brush to blend. Now the foundation does look a little warm on me, but after I finish my makeup, the color really does match fairly well. Like, it doesn't look too warm once everything's said and done, and there is a strong floral scent to the foundation. So for concealer, I'm going to use my Dior Forever Skin Correct concealer, which is on January's makeup tray. This is actually my favorite concealer. So I'm pretty much out or almost out of my Haus Labs. That's like in my top as well. So I put this on the tray. This gives you full coverage. It blends out like a dream. So if you're a beginner, you would love this one. And I'm going to use my Nikki LaRose N17 brush from BK Beauty. Going in with this side of the brush, because there's a side that you can use for cream products and a side for powder products. And I'm blending out the darkest concealer first to get that seamless blend into the foundation. Makeup by Mario. This is a contour, like a contour slash bronzer stick in the shade Dark. It does come in a larger size, but this one came in a set with a blush, so it's like the mini. And I'm going to use my BK Beauty 109 brush to blend out the contour. So another new product that I have been itching to get into, this is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder. Now, I'm already a fan of the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powders. They are really good. They are up there with the best, okay? And so this one's in the shade Ube Birthday Cake, which has literally taken the internet by storm. So it's supposed to be like a purpley shade, like a lavender shade. And I really do love the One Size pink powder, the ultra pink, which is a deeper pink. And so I was thinking it'd be fun to compare them side by side, since that's like pretty much my favorite. So just so you guys can see the difference in color, they are quite different. So we'll do Huda on this side and then One Size ultra pink on this side, Huda Ube. So the packaging is different now. They switched it up, and there's a little plastic cover. Okay, so here we go. Let me just make sure I don't have any creases, which no, I really don't. You don't get much creasing with the Dior concealer. So let's get it even on the puff. Ooh, there's a strong perfumey scent to the powder. It smells really good though, but definitely like strong perfume. I thought they took the scent out of her powders. Maybe not. It's a different scent than she normally has, but there's a very much a perfumey scent. I like it. It's subtle. There's a little tint that's giving off a little lavender tint. Just as smooth as her other powders. So let's compare to our One Size Ultimate Setting Powder in Ultra Pink. So that's how it looks, and we'll use the opposite side of the puff. So that's the One Size. There's no creasing. So the One Size gives more of a natural look to it. The color looks a little bit more natural to me than the Huda. I do like the formula of the One Size a little bit better. It's just a little, like slightly creamier, slightly smoother, but Huda is really good too, don't get me wrong. It's really, really good. So this just gives more natural. To me, this just gives something a little different, which I'm not mad at. I think it's really cute. So for the purpose of the video, let's take the Ube powder from Huda Beauty and put a little bit on top of our One Size so we can match on both sides. Okay, so let's move on to the eyes. I want to recreate the green eye look that I had on the last video I posted. I had a few requests, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm using the Makeup Revolution brow gel. This isn't necessarily one of my favorites. This gives a really, really light hold. So before we get into the eye look, let me show you guys the palettes that I'm gonna be using. So on January's makeup tray, I have the Tropicolor palette from Sydney Grace. And these are some excellent eyeshadow formulas, like so good. But there's this one shade in here called Cane Fields, this beautiful, almost like emerald green shade. Let me swatch it for you. And I don't have any other greens like this, like quite like this in my collection, so I don't have anything to compare it to. But if you have a shade, something similar to this, then go ahead and use that. Beautiful, right? And then this is the Juvias Place Culture 2 palette, which I know quite a few of you guys actually have this Culture 2 palette. And I'm gonna take this shade called Batik or Batik, which is at the very bottom. I'm flipping it so it looks like it's at the top, but that's Batik, which is almost like a golden green. I'm gonna swatch it for you. And that's what that one looks like. So it is sort of like a duochrome. It looks kind of gold depending on what angle you look at it, but then it also goes very much green as well, like a golden green. So pretty, both of the colors. So these are the shades I'm using, along with some browns for the crease. So any shades that you have sort of similar to this, or even this, or really any greens, just look in your collection and pull some. But if you have these, this is what we're working with today. Okay, so the Blade Brow from Makeup Revolution is what's on my makeup tray this month. So that's what I'm gonna use. I'm spoiled to the Merit pencil, or maybe I need to use this one just a little bit longer. To clean up my brows, I'm gonna take my Sephora collection Best Skin Ever concealer in the shade 35N with my Morphe 224 brush. I forgot that I picked up a Morphe brush set today at Ulta. I should have used that. You know, their new brushes, they have a new brush line that's supposed to be, I think, easier to clean. They're made out of something different now. And it was interesting that the brushes were like between the prices of like $10 and maybe $15 at the most per brush. But with those sets, you got like 6 brushes for like $30. So it was so much of a better deal to just get the set. So I got the sets, and the brushes did feel really nice. So next tutorial, I'll remember to use those. Have any of you guys tried them yet? So they have, I think, 2 to 3 different sets you can get with the new brushes, but you can buy them all individually as well. So that's nice. I remember it took a long time, like a year or 2, for the Makeup by Ariel brushes to be able to buy those separately. At first you could only get them in the sets. Okay, so for a base, I'm going to use my MAC paint pot in the color Contemplative State, which is just like a flesh tone, and I'm going to use this to just sort of prime the eyes. But the quality of those green shadows are so good, honestly. They probably don't even need a base, but this really does help out a bit. So I'm going to take this MAC duo that I created. I picked 2 colors to go on the palette, and this shade is called What Clout, and I'm going to use that just sort of in my upper crease area, almost to the brow bone. And this blending brush is the BK Beauty 212 brush, by the way. So going into that Batik shade from the Juvias Place Culture 2 palette, I'm going to place this right in my inner corner area. And I'm going to go above my crease because I do have a small mobile lid area. So I like to go above my crease that way. Number one, it can give me the illusion of having a larger lid space. And so when I finish the eye look and apply the lashes, you can still see the color without it just being so hidden down low in a sense. And I'm only taking this about 1/3 of the way in. Sydney Grace palette, the Tropicolor palette, taking that shade Cane Feel with the opposite side of the brush, and this is actually a Sephora collection brush. It's the number 15, so I'm going to take the opposite side, Cane Fields, and apply that to the middle of my lid space, meeting up with the first green shade. So this is just going to be a little bit darker of a green. I'm going to slightly touch the first green, that way it could give us a seamless fade. And I'm just gonna go in the middle about like 1/3. So like a third, and then I'm gonna leave a third. Going back in with the lightest green just to add a little bit more, because I feel like I drowned it out just a little bit with the second green. I didn't want to cover it up that much. So now I'm gonna go back into the Sydney Grace palette and take the shade Maroon, which is a deep reddish brown. This color is sort of similar to Brown Script. It's like a mixture between Brown Script and Embarked, if you remember those 2 shades from MAC. Like not as red as Brown Script, but more red in it than Embarked, if that makes sense. So, but any like deep chocolate brown or deep brown with a little red undertone will work for you. I know there's some of those browns in a lot of the Juvias Place palettes. They have them Definitely have them in the coffee shop palette, or you could use Embarked. This brush is a little soft for me. I can't tell who this brush is from, but it's a little too soft. I need a little bit more precision, so this won't work. So I'm gonna use the Angie Hot and Flashy. This is the A504 brush from BK Beauty, and it's a little bit more sturdy. So back in with maroon. So yeah, now I can get that precision because I wanna go kind of up and out a little bit. And back into Cane Fields, the deeper green, and work that over into maroon slightly. This is just gonna give us a softer blend on the transition. This is the 211 brush from BK Beauty. It's just a little bit softer than the one I just used, but you can get precision with it as well. And I wanna take what Clout again, the original soft transition shade, and just soften the top of all of the colors. Taking Waterfall, it's one of the Sephora collection 12-hour pencils. I'm gonna apply that just in the first half of my waterline and smudge it out because it gives you enough playing time to smudge it, but you do have to work kind of fast. And then I'm taking my LA Girl pencil. This one's in the shade Never Ending Navy. And I'm gonna smudge that out as well. I'm gonna pop on my Socialite Mink lashes in the style Day Party. It's a nice full fluffy lash that has alternating short and long hairs. Perfect for a bold eye look. They have discontinued my favorite lash glue and I'm so sad about it. I've used a couple since then that are decent, but none compare to the one I was using. My Lancome mascara, I think this is the Hypnos. So back to the face, I'm gonna take my Sephora collection micro smooth powder. It's in the shade Mahagany, which is like my skin shade. So I can already tell the complexion is different with the foundation, being that I used the Fenty mist underneath. It's a lot more matte than what it was if you guys saw that video. Go in and fix my imperfections. Most people do that while they're applying their creams or before their makeup. I like to do it after. I'm gonna go in with my Giorgio Armani bronzers. The first one's gonna be in the shade 110, which gives me like, I'll show you, more of like a soft golden bronze. Because the eyes are so dramatic, I want everything else to be somewhat soft. Taking my other Giorgio Armani bronzer, I broke it when I got it, y'all. This one's the darkest one in 120, and I'm gonna take a smaller brush. So let me show y'all the difference. And these are both Makeup by Ariel brushes. So this one is when I wanted it a little bit more blown out. And the smaller, more precise one is when I want a little bit more like definition. So I'm gonna take the darker bronzer, and I don't wanna cover this one up. I'm just sort of precisely going in there just to give me a little bit of definition, but not a whole lot, because like I said, I want the rest of the face to be kind of soft. Back in with the first bronzer brush. I'm not applying any more product, but I'm just blending, making sure everything's meshed together. Now I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This is the finishing powder I use for under eye only for brightening, but it's for brightening, but it's the more toned down one that I use for brightening, because I have some that give me bright, honey. But this one's brightening, but not crazy. So I'm going to take my small tapered brush from e.l.f. And I'm gonna use this to brighten under eye, but also to clean up the eyeshadow look on both sides. See how it brightens, but it's not like super bright. And then let's clean up the shadow look. And I just wanna take my shadow brush and soften it a little more, because if you see, this one's a little bit more blown out and diffused, and it's a little bit more harsh right here. So this is just that what clout that's left on the brush. and just soften that out. I think we need a little blush, y'all, just a little. So I'm gonna take my Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Chic to Chic Blush in Intense. And I like to use the shade on the outer rim, which is a terracotta shade. It's not too heavy at all. So I want to use a brush that's on the softer, fluffier side. This one's the BK Beauty N15. And just so we can have a little bit more color, nothing too heavy. And I'm going to keep that kind of higher up on the cheekbone, and I'm not going to bring it down to the apples. I'm looking at the skin. That Fenty Beauty spray is like... we have to see, like, I'm gonna keep you guys updated because it's almost as matte as this looks compared to what the Hydra Nude, the Dior Hydra Nude looks like without primer. This is giving something serious. It sort of reminded me of the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin. But we'll give it a few hours to see what it does. So let's move on to the lips. Taking my Skin by Kim lip liner. This one's in the shade 13, I want to say. Yeah, 13 is my most used from the brand. So that's what 13 looks like. Sort of reminds you of Cork from MAC. And BFF3 from ColourPop, and this is just to overline. And this is just a hair deeper than the first liner I used, like very slightly. Which this is this is also optional and unnecessary, but it's just me being extra. But I like the look of that very subtle gradient that it gives, but I feel like the average person wouldn't be able to see it anyways. 2020 from Juvia's Place, and that's what 2020 looks like. See how it's like my lip but better? It's like the ultimate natural shade. Perfect for a bride. If you're a professional makeup artist, or if you're getting married and you want it like your lip but better, it's 2020 from Juvia's Place. So Ami Collet Lip Oil in Excellence, and I'm just gonna go over my lip line with this. And Sephora collection, I think this is 07, okay, yeah, 07, which is like a pinky shade. Okay, so I'm gonna take this pigment. It's a loose pigment called Jardin Aries, I think. Jardine Airs. It's a MAC pigment. I got this in like a holiday limited edition set that had like 2 other colors in it. But I'm just going to use this to pop in my inner corners. Look, I almost don't want to spray my face because for me this is matte enough. I'll spray a little bit. So this is the final look. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I wanted to do a bright, bold look, but also something that feels wearable. For me, I don't usually wear like really bold, bright colors. I like to use those colors and those looks for YouTube, but like in real life, I don't really wear them. But I feel like this sort of eye look where everything else is a little bit more subdued, I would feel comfortable wearing this out. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'll leave everything I used today, including the shades, linked in the description box or right there on the YouTube shopping tab on the screen. So be sure to check that out. If you're new here, welcome. I'd love for you to come join the family by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. 'Cause I've been where you are. You're too scared to show me love. 'Cause too fresh with the scar.